Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF childcare payments across America. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment. Second, I have just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers. This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov. Whether you're a parent, a provider, a member of the public, we want to hear from you.
After independent journalist Nick Shirley's investigative video on Minnesota daycare fraud went viral, it triggered a major federal response. From the FBI stepping in with additional personnel and investigative resources to dismantle ongoing fraud schemes, to the Department of Homeland Security launching door-to-door investigations in Minneapolis, targeting suspected childcare and broader taxpayer-funded fraud cases, the Trump administration is in full Minnesota crackdown mode. Now, the Trump admin has announced another shocking move to curb the corruption and to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes. The Trump administration on December 30th announced that it is suspending child care funding to Minnesota and ordering audits of certain daycare centers following multiple fraud schemes tied to government programs in recent years. Deputy Health and Human Services Secretary Jim O'Neill said on the social media platform X that the action comes in response to blatant fraud that appears to be rampant in Minnesota and across the country. To curb the abuse, 1. HHS activated its Defend the Spend system, requiring all ACF payments nationwide to include justification and receipt or photo evidence before funds are released. 2. The department has also acknowledged investigative reporting of independent journalist Nick Shirley and demanded a comprehensive audit of targeted centers, including attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. 3. Additionally, HHS has launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email through childcare.gov to collect tips from parents, providers, and the public.
Hello, I'm HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill. I'm here with Assistant Secretary Alex Adams. Alex oversees the Administration for Children and Families. Intrepid journalists have made shocking and credible allegations of extensive fraud in Minnesota's child care programs. We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
My office, ACF, provides Minnesota $185 million in child care funds each year. That money should be helping 19,000 American children, including toddlers and infants. Any dollar stolen by fraudsters is stolen from those children. Yesterday, I spoke directly with the director of the Minnesota Child Care Services Office. She could not tell me with confidence whether those allegations of fraud are isolated or whether there's fraud stretching statewide.
Today, we have taken 3 direct actions against the blatant fraud that seems to be rampant in Minnesota. First, I have activated our Defend the Spend system for all ACF childcare payments across America. Starting today, we require a justification, receipt, or photo evidence before we make a payment. Second, I have just signed and sent a demand letter to Governor Walz. I required a full 360 review of these centers. This includes attendance records, licenses, complaints, investigations, and inspections.
And third, we've launched a dedicated fraud reporting hotline and email address at childcare.gov. Whether you're a parent, a provider, a member of the public, we want to hear from you. Let me be crystal clear. ACF expects every state to uphold the highest standards of oversight, monitoring, and accountability for federal dollars. Minnesota is no exception.
We're committed to holding bad actors accountable. Regardless of rank or office, anyone who's involved in perpetrating this fraud against the American people should expect to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz lambasted President Trump and his administration over its decision to pause federal child care funding to the state following a viral influencer video alleging widespread fraud in government programs. This is Trump's long game, Walz, who was on the Democratic ticket as VP against Trump, Vance in 2024, wrote on X. "We've spent years cracking down on fraudsters. It's a serious issue, but this has been his plan all along. He's politicizing the issue to defund programs that help Minnesotans." Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and FBI Director Kash Patel said this week that federal operations in Minnesota are being stepped up. The move follows a video posted on December 26th by an independent journalist alleging that Minneapolis daycare centers run by Somali residents were involved in as much as $100 million in fraud. Noem wrote on social media that officers were conducting a massive investigation on childcare and other rampant fraud. And DHS have launched a door-to-door probe to dismantle the fraud chain. Patel said the goal of the expanded effort is to dismantle large-scale fraud schemes exploiting federal programs. Trump's immigration enforcement in Minnesota has focused on the Somali community in Minneapolis's St. Paul area, the largest in the U.S., as on various occasions, President Trump labeled the Minnesota Somalis as garbage and said he did not want them in the country.
But when I watch what is happening in Minnesota, the land of 1,000 lakes or however many lakes they have, they got a lot of lakes, but this beautiful place, and I see these people ripping it off, and now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at that, I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks. And we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries too. I can say it about other countries too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
About 84,000 of the nation's 260,000 Somalis live in the region, with the vast majority being U.S. citizens. Nearly 58% were U.S. born, while 87% of foreign-born Somalis are naturalized citizens. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for Minnesota, 82 of the 92 defendants charged in child nutrition, housing, and autism-related fraud cases are Somali Americans. Reportedly, a conservative watchdog group is examining Representative Ilhan Omar's finances amid growing outrage over the massive fraud scandal in Minnesota and questions surrounding her rapid rise in wealth. The scrutiny follows a report that her husband's venture capital firm quietly removed key officer details online as questions surfaced about her sudden wealth increase. Omar's net worth jumped to about $30 million within roughly a year, a nearly 3,500% rise from 2023, according to financial disclosures. Conservative critics like Brian Babin are also pressing for broader investigations into Omar and Democratic Governor Tim Walz. Earlier on December 19th, Trump went on rampage against Rep. Ilhan Omar, asking to get the hell out of America, and lambasted the ongoing fraud going on in Minnesota.
How about the new thing in Minnesota with the Somalians? They stole now, it came out, the great U.S. attorney up there, they came out, think of this, $9 billion, and they think that's just the beginning. They stole, think of it, in their country, they live on nothing, they have nothing. They come here and they steal $9 billion. Are we stupid? I mean, how do we allow that to happen? Ilhan Omar should be sent out of our country. She should not be allowed to be. She married her brother either to stay or to get him into the country. And yesterday she, I guess, made up a story. She said the police attacked her son. They stopped the car and the police said, we never attacked him, we never stopped. It was a made-up story. She's a common person. She's full of common. She says, zero. She said, get the unit, get her the hell out of our country. She made up the story that the police stopped her son's car and they harassed the hell out of her. It turned out to be a fake story. There was no stoppage of his car. There was no harassment. But think of that, in Minnesota, this beautiful place, once beautiful, I don't call it beautiful, the governor is a stupid person, and corrupt. He's corrupt and stupid. But he allowed this to go on. He allowed this to go on. Everybody knew it was going on. But what nobody knew is over $9 billion. And the people of Minnesota are not happy. And you know who's running for governor? Mike Lindell. Do we like Mike Lindell? That man suffered. What he did, what he went through, because he knew the election was rigged. And he did it. He just did it as a citizen. Mike Lindell, I'll tell you what, every time I introduced him, he got the biggest hand. I hope he does great. He deserves to be great. That man suffered. These people went after him. They went after his company. They did that with me too, but at least I knew what I was getting into. He was just a guy that said, geez, this election was so crooked. It was so rigged. He fought like hell. That guy deserves to be governor of Minnesota.